What is your current beauty routine?
What do you think is the most underrated skincare ingredient?
What milky toner do you like?
One makeup item you always repurchase.
Things you regret doing or issues you've come across in social media?
And so I gained like 200,000 followers in a night. And then I did it again, the same thing happened.
Where should they begin if they're starting a routine? Like, what do you like to recommend?
I'm gonna be the first person to not BS you and tell you that, yeah, toner is 100% optional.
There's so many products, but really to see if it's working for you, you really have to stick to it for a good period of time to see the results.
But skincare is not that scary. Like, the stakes are pretty low. But ultimately, skin is so resilient, it's gonna bounce back.
Welcome back to another episode of Skin Deep MDs. I'm Dr. Lindsay.
I'm Dr. Mamina.
And I'm Dr. Jenny. And today we have an episode we've been so excited to bring you. If you've ever fallen down that skincare rabbit hole at 1 a.m. or stood in Sephora overwhelmed by 600 toners, this one's for you.
We're joined by the brilliant and beautiful Sarah Palmyra. You might know her from Instagram, TikTok, or YouTube. She is not only a licensed professional with years of in the trenches experience at Sephora and giving hydrofacials, she's also one of the most transparent voices in beauty content.
Yes, we'll be talking about how she got started, what it means to create content with intention, and yes, we're going to talk about toners. Like, are they necessary? Which ones are actually worth your money?
So Sarah is a beauty content creator based in Los Angeles, California, who has quickly become the internet go-to beauty bestie and source for honest skincare advice. Her passion is to educate her community about skincare and share tips in depth, product reviews, and guides on the latest skincare ingredients. She hopes to empower her community with knowledge to identify the best skincare products for their skin type and lifestyle. Her goal is to simplify skincare for all by being an educational resource and providing positive and authentic content. Her content touches not just on skincare, but also hair care, beauty, and fashion. And she's been featured in prominent publications including Vogue Business, The New York Post, Glossy, Refinery 29, and The Huffington Post.
Sarah, we are so excited to have you here. I think I speak for all of us in that we are truly obsessed with you. I mean, I have followed you since the beginning. I mean, you are just the coolest content creator. I met you once and it was not long enough. I was like, oh, I really want to hang out with you more. And I wish we had more time, but now we get to have this podcast episode with you, which I'm sure is going to be like one of the most popular episodes we do because you just are incredible at what you do. And so I know you from social media, but I don't know you. And I think everyone wants to get to know you. So I have a couple questions. I really want to just jump back to the beginning. How did you start your skincare journey? What pulled you into this beauty world? How did working at Sephora shape your content creation journey? I know it's a lot of questions, but I want to hear everything.
Yeah, well, thank you so much for having me. I'm such a fan of all of you, so it's such an honor to be here. But yes, my journey started kind of on accident in the sense that I had always had this huge passion for beauty, but I just kind of pushed it down. You know, I was a really academic person and I was focused on getting my master's degree. I actually, fun fact, have a master's degree in opera. So I was
Yeah, stop. That's
I'm
amazing.
a professionally trained opera singer.
Oh my God.
And I was going to pursue that fully, but I had some reservations about just the lifestyle. It's a lot of living out of a suitcase and I was unsure, but I pursued the master's degree. And while I was doing that, I started working at Sephora just for fun. And I loved it. And I just got deeper and deeper into just all of the training, all of the extra courses I could take. So I started in the makeup section and then my manager would always find me somehow. I ended up in skincare. You know, if somebody was like, oh, I need a concealer for my discoloration, somehow I would always bring it back to like, well, what are you using though to target the discoloration? So I would always end up bringing them back down to the skincare aisle. And so eventually I started working in skincare. I did like at the time it was called 201s, and it was basically like this extra course for learning everything about, you know, what products to recommend. So eventually I started kind of helping people tailor their own routines. And then I would even give them like a hydrofacial, which was really fun. They don't do that anymore. Now you actually have to be certified by hydrofacial, but I took a whole training and I would give people a full hydrofacial and then a little mini facial and then recommendations. And I just loved it. It was so fun for me. And then when the pandemic happened, not only was I kind of told, hey, no one's singing in public right now, we're kind of having to pivot, but also I was let go from Sephora because
my
they
God.
had 4 shutdowns.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And I was much more devastated about the Sephora part. And it kind of showed me where my heart was. I really just missed talking to clients, helping people. And so I thought, okay, while I wait to reapply or to figure out my next step, I just graduated, let me just post online for fun. And it was really just that. I started posting already on YouTube just for fun. I had like 100 subscribers. It was so much fun. And then eventually I thought, maybe I'll post on TikTok and share, no one's coming in store anyway. So why don't I do the same thing I was doing at Sephora, but just to the camera? And that's just what happened.
Wow.
Nice.
Love it.
Oh,
That's crazy. And look where you're at now. Like your whole, the pandemic was just the wildest time ever, but it just truly put so much of life into perspective. At least it did for me too. I think for all of us, that's kind of where we started our content creation journey. And that's also when I decided to have kids. I didn't want kids before. And then the pandemic happened and I was like, holy shit, life's short. Like, I think I'm going to have kids now. So it's crazy to see
so
how you almost.
The world is ending.
Yeah.
And you're like, I don't have children.
Yeah, right. I know,
Well,
but it makes no sense. But
No, I love it.
you almost were an opera singer, and then the pandemic happened, and now you've done a complete 180, and you have this such a successful career online as a beauty influencer and content creator. And I think the number one question everyone wants to know, so I'm just going to get it out of the way now, is like, what is your current beauty routine? Everyone wants to know that. You look amazing.
Thank you so much. Well, I turned 30 and I've never been more tired than I have this year. But I would say, I've shared my current beauty routine online, so you can check that out because I showed a little transformation and people were like, that can't be real. But the thing people don't understand is that consistently using even topical skincare can have drastic effects on the face. I think people underestimate that. And when I talk to a lot of brands and I talk to people who are working in the labs for those brands, a lot of the times they can't even make the claims legally that are actually happening on the skin because they just don't have enough data yet, but they have good data. And it's always shocking to me, like, oh my God, this serum can actually do that. And they say, yes, but we just can't tell people.
Yes.
Insane. So, I think just consistent, good skincare, but I will say I love a double cleanse. I've been using the Anua cleansing oil with the cleansing foam. I love that duo.
Nice.
I was a little bit sketched out because everyone's talking about it on TikTok Shop. And now whenever people do that, I'm like, is that real? But I do really like it. And then I love my current body red light mask.
Yes.
I'm a big retinol girl. So currently using the Aven retinol.
Yeah, love
We
that.
all love that one.
Consistently, I love retinol. I just think it's great. And then my current body red light, I live in it, I bathe in it. A good milky toner just for like barrier support. And then I love peptides. So I've been using my One Skin peptide for years. I just started using Skin Cell Media. That sketches me out, but I will tell you, I've never been more tired, and I feel like it kind of just does something. I can't figure out what it does, but when I don't use it, I look as tired as I feel. So might be something to it, but that's really expensive.
Is that the brand Skin Cell Media?
No, basically it's made out of human stem cells, but the one I've been currently using is Angela.
Oh yeah,
I've tried that one.
Yes, I've tried that one too.
Yes.
I like that one.
Yeah, I do
It's
too.
really great. It's an exorbitant amount of money, so I don't know where I'll be when I finish it. But I've been using it like crazy.
Yeah.
And something I always do with expensive serums, because I used to like savor them and then they would even potentially expire. And now I'm like, no, I'm just going to go for it. So I put it all over my neck, my chest, my hands.
Yeah.
I've been really starting to put skincare on my hands because I'm like,
yes, don't forget your
Yeah.
hands.
I know. It's like one day I thought I was a 20-year-old and looked great, and my face is like doing okay for someone who's almost 40. But then I look at my hands, I was like, oh God, I forgot. And I look like 10 years older than my face. So
it catches up with you, and
It
you don't want
does.
to put your fancy serums on your hands, but I'm telling everyone, just do it. And I just started, and I'm hopeful that like I've caught it early enough, but we're out here living our lives at the end of the day. But no, you all look amazing. But yeah, that's been my routine. Retinol at night, then red light therapy, and then in the morning I just do like a milky toner and azelaic acid and sunscreen.
What milky toner do you like? I'm obsessed with milky toners too.
I love, well, I currently love one that I'm working on. I've been working on it for the last year.
Ooh.
So I've been using up that lab sample and now I have the full size and that will be launching, I think in September. So stay
Ooh.
tuned.
Oh my, are you dropping a skincare line?
Yeah.
No, it's not my
Oh.
own line. I'm co-launching a line with a brand that I love.
Oh my God.
Wow.
Or co-launching a product with a brand that I love. But
Nice.
I love so many. I mean, I love the Tier Milky
Oh.
Toner. I like Rhode. It's a little heavier, but I do like it. But I really wanted to create my own because I've tried literally every Milky Toner. And I'm excited because it's like I like to say it's a liquid moisturizer, but then I put as many things as I possibly could to also make it kind of a serum.
Mm.
So you could, if you really wanted to, you could skip your serum and moisturizer step and just put this on. So my issue with a lot of the toners was they were really nice and there's barrier repair kind of things in there, but there wasn't anything like, fancy like antioxidants or anything like that. And I wanted to add that because I thought, well, if you're really lazy, can't you just use this as like a serum step in the morning? And you surely can.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm excited about that.
That's so exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. My first product collab. So
Yeah.
a lot of heart and soul went into it. It's been like like a year and a half in the making.
Love
So-
that.
You-
Yeah.
You like spouted off so many different lovely products, which we're all fans of, like a lot of those in kinds of ingredients. But
Yeah.
and you worked at Sephora too. So if somebody's like shopping intentionally for beauty products and they're feeling overwhelmed, like how do you guide them to be intentional? Or like in terms of like, or where should they begin if they're starting a routine? Like what do you like to recommend?
Well, I think like another big thing that inspired my content was my ADHD, and I would get really overwhelmed too. Like I love beauty, but it's overwhelming.
Totally.
And it's only gotten more overwhelming. I feel like there's so many more beauty brands than there were in 2020.
Yeah.
So it can just get really, really stressful. And then you kind of feel like paralysis and you're like, I'm not going to do anything because it's just too much. But I always like to tell people to kind of, first of all, start from a place of enjoyment and your lifestyle. What are you realistically going to do? Like, should you really start with like a 10 step when you're going from 0? Probably not. And then I also like to take it back to, first of all, just basic essentials. And then anything that you add on top of that is extra and completely based on your skin concerns. So you really have to look at the individual person. So, you're going to take a cleanser, gentle cleanser. We all know this, gentle cleanser and a sunscreen, and then a moisturizer. That's like all you really need.
Yep.
And then you have to look at your skin. Like, are you suffering from like redness, blotchiness? Are you suffering from hyperpigmentation? Are you suffering from acne, a damaged skin barrier? And I actually made a video on this too, because I think that then people think that, if they have most of us are dealing with one or usually more concerns. So then you want to throw everything at it, including the kitchen sink, and you end up really hurting your skin. So I always like to say there's tiers of skincare, and you can't address your hyperpigmentation until you've addressed your breakouts. So if you have active breakouts, address those first. Or if you have any kind of medical skin condition, you need to address that first with the help of a dermatologist. Or if you can't access one, first start with over-the-counter products and then see. And then you can address things like, redness or hyperpigmentation or dryness. I always like to say it starts with the condition that you might have, your skin barrier, and then anything else. And that's like kind of helpful because then you don't get too overwhelmed. And I always like to say, like, start with one product for that thing. Because how would you even know it was working if you started with like 4 different things?
Yeah. You're kind of doing the Lord's work for the dermatologists out there. Like, have you ever thought about being a dermatologist? Because yes,
I mean,
it's so overwhelming.
There's a space for me, and then there's a space for, I think when I first started, I was so excited to help people, and I kind of also would even comment on people's conditions just with like the best intentions. But over time, I've really learned that's not where I need to live. I'm not a dermatologist. I didn't go to school for you guys go to school for so many years too. I didn't go to school for all those years. There's a place for me to live, and there's a place for people to consume dermatologist content. And then there's still room for me talking about all of these products and how to shop and, like how to shop for your specific concerns. And that's what I love about, like, the internet. You can actually still get value from me, but then you can also get value from all the incredible derms just putting out such good information.
And you're so good at what you do too. Like, you are so fun and relatable. What has your journey been on social media like? Like, has it always been rainbows and butterflies? Like, was there, things you regret doing or issues you've come across in social media? I think people like to hear that stuff, because when you're a follower, you just see, the highlight reels and you see the bubbly side of things. But I would love to get real with you and like hear about your journey being on social media.
Yeah. Well, it certainly wasn't like an immediate success. When I graduated, I was unemployed and living at home, and I would work on posting content for like I would work on content related things 16 hours a day. And I would gain like 3 followers, lose 5. I was absolutely no indication that it was going to go anywhere. So I really recommend to anyone trying to do this, you got to do it because you really enjoy it, because there was never a point where I was like, this is going to work. Like, it kind of only happened when it happened. And prior to that, there was absolutely no indication that it was going to go anywhere. I think I spent like almost a year with absolutely like no growth whatsoever, no kind of trajectory. And you just kind of keep doing it, keep doing it, keep doing it. And that's what, consistency builds community. But if you don't do it for wanting to speak to a community, it's not going to ever work. But that's one thing for sure. And then, there were definitely highs and lows with it. And I mean, learning how to balance doing it with my life. I got to this place where I wanted to make everything content. And then also, when I first got super popular and I got all these followers at once, actually, which really was amazing but stressful. I decided to make this ad about myself on TikTok, essentially. And I was like, hey, I'm Sarah. If you found me, this is what I do. You should follow me. And no one was really doing that. And that really worked. And so I gained like 200,000 followers in a night.
Oh my God. That's insane.
Yeah. And then I did it again a few months later. I was like, why don't I put out another ad about how you should follow me? The same thing happened. So, to go from like 10,000 followers to over 200,000. And then again, I doubled it from 300 to 600. That was so overwhelming to me. And then I started to respond to every single DM I ever received, because I really wanted to like give everyone advice. And that's kind of where I learned to stay in my own lane. Like, even though I was so well-intentioned, I was speaking about things that I technically wasn't an expert on, giving people advice on skin conditions and things like that, because I was just really wanting to help people. But again, that's when I really learned, like, I have no place doing that. And I can still be so valuable to people, but keep it, as a Sephora advisor, this is my sphere of expertise. I'm going to help you figure out like what products do what for who and when. And, I just, speak to my experiences, what I've tried. And I think that there was one moment where I even spoke about fungal acne, which is not the medical term for what that is, but I was so well-intentioned. And I think one dermatologist, and I can't even remember their name, got so mad at me. And they made a whole video about it and how, I have no place in the skincare industry. And that video got like a lot of traction and a lot of people agreed, and I was devastated. And I think that was a really good learning experience for me. I actually reached out to the dermatologist and I apologized, which, honestly, like, I think that there's a wonderful place where you can educate in the world without really tearing other people down, especially
completely agree.
Totally.
A lot of people rely on the internet to make money. That's true. But I think that there was a place for someone sending you a private DM.
Completely.
But that's not what happened. And it was a good wake-up call. They ultimately didn't really accept my apology, and I had to just make peace with the fact that I'd ruffled some feathers. And then I kind of reflected about, why am I doing what I'm doing, and what am I wanting to bring to people, and what do I want to help them with? And it was a good learning experience. And then I realized, I can just stick to talking about products and my own experiences. I don't need to help someone with acne. I've never actually, helped someone target their acne. Yes, sure, I've recommended them a routine that works great, but I'm not going to tell them what kind of acne they have. And so, it was great. I was just inexperienced. I was trying it all, and that's kind of how you learn. But, on that note, I will also say, like, I'm not perfect, and I've definitely made mistakes or said wrong things, but I think that some easy ways to tell if somebody is wanting to put good information out there is who's following them. Are dermatologists and chemists and people that you respect following them? Like, are they mutuals online? And also, has that person corrected themselves before? Because I've been corrected by a friend of mine. And I then put out a statement being like, hello, actually, it's this. Thank you so much to this person for letting us know. So, that's really important too when you're following someone who's not necessarily a dermatologist or a chemist. Are they honest about their credentials, and do they admit when they've said the wrong thing? Those are like two really key things that I would say are indicators of someone wanting to put out good information.
Yeah.
Oh, and some regrets? Yes, absolutely. There was this one video I made and I thought, oh my God, I'm a genius. Why hasn't anyone talked about this? In 2022, I made a video about putting sunscreen in a cushion compact. So I bought an empty cushion compact. I put the sunscreen in there and I was like, I am a genius. And then I learned, of course, that the reason that people don't do that is because sunscreen really needs to live in the container that it was designed in, or it can destabilize and you won't get the sunscreen value that you thought. So you could do that for like one day. If you're going to go somewhere, you can put it in that day. But after that, you're not going to be able to use that sunscreen compact anymore. And I think it was my friend Ramon, Glow by Ramon, who's so smart, who told me, hey, I've got bad news for you. So, yes, of course, there's definitely been times where I thought I discovered something amazing and then I think out that's why we can't do that.
Oh my God,
Yeah.
Sarah.
I mean, it's crazy how humbling social media can be.
That's a good way to put it.
Yeah, but also I think I love everything that you said. I think I really appreciate your attitude, and I think that's why we love you. It's the fact that you are so professional, but in a positive way. I mean, the things that you've said about being in this space, like what happened to you, I think it's probably happened to all of us, and in a similar way where, whether it's with somebody else in a different profession or even our own colleagues. And I wish there would be a more collegial environment where we can all collaborate and share information and opinions, because a lot of it too is not so much the medicine, but the art of skincare, right? So I love your attitude, and I think that's why you're gonna have a long career in this space.
Thank you.
But I think the one thing I wanted to ask you, which you kind of already said, is certainly you kind of acknowledge your strength, and then also giving people what other things would you tell them to maybe find, what to look for when looking, finding someone that would give out good information, trustworthy information. I know you mentioned who else is following them, or maybe say acknowledging that they were incorrect. Do you have any other tips? Because I think there's a lot of influencers out there, and not everyone is like you that would have maybe go back and say, okay, I was wrong, or just kind of being willing to help, but acknowledging that he or she has limitations on what they can do.
Yeah, I think there's a few little red flags that I think are really good indicators that maybe someone isn't the best resource. And, negativity really works online. It generates so many views, and so does fear. But skincare is not that scary. Like, the stakes are
I
pretty
love
low.
that.
Say it louder
Yes,
for those
oh my
in the
God.
back. It is not
Yeah.
that skincare is not that scary, and it's not that
No.
complicated.
Yeah.
No,
To be
and
honest.
the stakes are low, you guys.
Stakes
I
are
mean,
low.
I've seen people do some weird things to their face, but ultimately, skin is so resilient, it's going to bounce back. And unless you're dealing with a medical condition, it's not that high stakes. And so, when I see people constantly talking about if you cleanse your skin this way, you are ruining your skin, and this is why you'll never have good skin. And if you're doing this, you're so wrong. If that's the bulk of their content, where they're not only making you feel scared about what you could be not doing, but also kind of feeling bad, feeling a little guilty. There's a little bit of shaming undertones in the content. You feel like they only know and you don't know. That's a red flag. It's not rocket science. And, I've seen the craziest stuff online from people claiming that you need to add water to your cleanser and use a makeup brush to, just don't drink out of a straw or you're going to get wrinkles all over your lips. Just things that the tone is not open and positive. And I think that is a very good indicator of someone who's maybe just trying to generate a lot of views and also position themselves as somebody who's the only person who understands these things, when that's really not true because there's so many experts. Also somebody who doesn't really give their sources. They just say blanket statements. They don't ever respond to critique or dialogue online. So, you know, if you're going to talk about something online, you've got to be prepared for somebody to comment on it. It's just going to happen. You've put yourself out there now. So you've essentially, you're standing out on the street saying something, you need to be prepared for someone to respond. And if you never respond and your response is just to block people or ignore it, that's also probably not a good sign. And then also people who don't really, again, are honest about their credentials. I've seen people use the craziest names. Skincare specialist. Actually, I made that mistake because technically Sephora does call you a skincare specialist when you work there. So I used to see that and I was like, oh yeah, like that was my title. And I would put that, you know, just as a way of, I guess, you know, telling people what I did. But you know, that's not actually a thing. You know, I have a lot of experience being in the industry, but like I've not gotten my formal esthetician's license. I've not done those things. So I'm not going to put that online. But people, yeah, who call them beauty expert. I've seen that everywhere. And like, yes, do I have my own expertise being in the industry? Sure. But people who are like, you know, touting themselves as beauty experts and then they're not listing their credentials, and potentially maybe also people who are selling you a course and you don't even understand what the course is for, and they're not telling you really what their credentials mean. Those are all red flags in my opinion. It should be really easy to understand who someone is, what their experience is, and what their limits are. And if they don't tell you, hey, this is what I talk about, this is what I don't talk about, that's a red flag. Even with dermatologists, you know, I've seen dermatologists talk about like, or plastic surgeons. I've seen a lot of plastic surgeons comment on like sunscreen formulation. That's not your wheelhouse. You didn't go to school for cosmetic chemistry. So why are you talking about cosmetic chemistry? You should talk about plastic surgery. So it's kind of like that same thing. Like you should be online being like, I'm a plastic surgeon. This is what I talk about. I don't know about sunscreen formulation. I don't have that degree. So those are my 2 cents. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, it's like the wild, wild west. It's still just like a very crazy, unregulated world. But there's so much good that comes with it too. So yes, so you mentioned that you have your Milky toner and you're co-launching that in September. You talk about toners too on your platform. You're like a toner girl. So, you know, it's funny because I feel like toners can sometimes be like a controversial skincare product. Like some derms say like it's completely unnecessary, but we'd like to just give it a little bit of a spotlight. So I would love for you to share like why you think it's kind of an underrated part of a skincare routine, and you know, any kind of myths about toners that you'd like to bust.
Or have you always been a fan of toner? Like, where did that start with you? I'd love to hear
was it like the
your
K
personal
beauty?
journey. Yeah.
Yeah, because K beauty is all about it, you know?
Yeah.
Oh, I know. Well, I'm going to be the first person to not BS you and tell you that, toner is 100% optional. So, I mean, like, it is. It's optional. Same way a serum is optional. I think toner used to be not optional because our cleansers weren't properly pH balanced. So back in the day, even like my grandma, I remember she would do her cleanser, which was kind of stripping and I think more alkaline. And so to bring the skin back to a level of acidity, you had the toner that had a lower pH and it was literally designed to rebalance your skin. And without that toner, your skin's pH would be off and you'd probably be experiencing all sorts of like dryness and skin barrier issues. Now we make better cleansers.
Totally.
So we don't need toners for that anymore. So now I think the toners live in 2 different categories. You've got the exfoliating toners and then you've got the hydrating toners. I love a hydrating toner. I think it's underrated because even though it's optional and people, you know, kind of see it as like, I don't need to add that. It's so easy. It's so easy. And because of the liquid formulation and the way a lot of them are formulated, you're less likely to find that it's too heavy on the skin or that it has an ingredient that maybe is a little bit pore clogging for you. You're just less likely to find that. And so, you know, I just think it's just a great introduction to bring your skin back to a healthy barrier. You know, there's so many great ingredients. You've got, you know, I've seen toners with centella, allantoin, or even colloidal oatmeal, just really soothing. And because they're such a thin formulation, they penetrate the skin really, really well. So if you've cleansed your skin and it's slightly damp and you throw in one of these hydrating toners, your skin can just drink up all that moisture so easily.
Yeah.
So I personally found great results from them.
Mm-hmm.
I love even using them under my eyes. And yeah, I just think they're just so underrated. And you can kind of layer them as much as you want.
That's probably
too,
my
which is
favorite
great.
part is how easy it is
Yeah.
to layer
Yeah.
them.
I agree. I feel like they don't pill the way that some
Yeah.
other things do. It just like really preps your skin for the rest of your skincare products to go on and be absorbed more effectively. And it really does feel and work differently than maybe a hyaluronic acid serum. I mean, those feel a little bit heavier, a little bit stickier, and this really just like melts into your skin like milk. You know, it's one of the my favorite things to do. Again, not necessary, but it really makes my day to put my milky toner on before the rest of my skincare.
Yeah, absolutely. And the other thing too is you can apply them and then afterwards it'll almost feel like you've used a moisturizer because in a sense they are liquid moisturizers. So if you're oilier and you hate the feeling of a moisturizer, especially in the summer, you can get away with using a few layers of your toner and then some sunscreen and you're good.
I love that tip. That's such a good tip.
Yeah. And I think that kind of goes into also what I really became known for online before the Sephora stuff, which was telling people that all the lines that you see in your 20s are not wrinkles because they're dehydration lines. And that's when I was really kind of talking about like, hey, try a hydrating toner. And I had people in my DMs being like, oh my God, I was about to go and get preventative Botox. And I saw your video and I started incorporating hydrating products and I no longer have the quote unquote wrinkles that I thought I did. And so I was like, oh my God, we need to talk about this more. Because at the time, baby Botox was really trending. And I would see so many young women who were 20, 21, 22, just thinking without realizing that their dehydrated lines were actual wrinkles. And then going to a doctor who was probably irresponsible and recommended all sorts of, you know, treatments that they did not need.
Yeah, you bring up a really good point that, you know, a lot of people really, they see like the pretty shiny objects of procedures. They want to jump right to the procedures without having like a very solid foundational skincare routine. And it's amazing. Like we said earlier, like the wonders that skincare could do for your skin.
And speaking of toners, I want to know you're like top from drugstore to luxe, like the ride and die products.
That's like asking me to choose one of my
I know, aside from the one that you're working on, but
know.
like the ones that
Or do you have a
routine-
you can say as many as you want.
Yeah. For like drier skin types, I do really like Rhode. It does have coconut based ingredients though. So if you are breakout prone, I don't recommend it. But if you're not, it's fantastic. If you have kind of like over retinized your skin, fantastic. And then Tier does a milky toner that's really similar as well. They also have a light version, which is really great. And then there's this incredible rice-based toner from House of Doha. And that is with just a really high quality rice. Like I had no idea how different tiers of rice ingredients you can have. And then I learned how they farm the rice and how very specific it is for them and how they grow it. And that is a fantastic toner because it's really light, but it's very brightening. And it does it with just rice and allantoin, nothing else. So you can kind of use it with any other, you know, active without any issues, which I love.
And it comes in a huge container, doesn't it?
It's massive. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
There's so much value. Yeah, it's really, really good. I will say for fancier things, I do really like the SK2 Essence. It is really fancy.
So good. I love that one.
It's good. And honestly, only if you want to.
Have you tried what people call like the not, you know, the dupes, but like from Neogen or like Misha, the other fermented. What do you think of those?
Yeah. No, I've totally tried them and they're great. I think that it's kind of like the same thing where the ingredient is similar or the same. It's just harvested differently. So I think that the SK2 one is a little bit more bioavailable and they have this whole patented system for how they harvest the Patera. And I do think that makes a difference. But obviously, if you want to get a similar result, go for the dupe first. And if you love the dupe, then save up for, you know, the real thing.
So we've mentioned essences. I have a question. Do you think at this point, because toners are no longer used to tone the skin, do you think toners and essences are essentially the same thing?
Oh yeah. The product I'm launching is fully like an essence.
Yeah.
It's, I mean, we've just toner, tonic,
Yeah.
essence, mist, they are all the
Yeah.
same, and it is truly just whatever the
Mhm.
marketing team has decided
Right.
they're going to call it at
Yeah.
this point.
Because in
Absolutely.
Japan, the other name is like lotion, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
and that
Yeah.
liquid
Mhm.
lotion,
Yeah.
exactly what I was saying.
Which
Yeah,
I think it's
Mhm.
really
and it's the same
appropriate because
thing.
it like even though it's like all the same liquid, product, but like I think just that terminology gets people thinking, oh, I can actually use it like a lotion, but it's liquid and
Mhm.
watery, great for oily
Yeah,
skin in the summertime. So
Mhm. Mhm.
yeah.
exactly. And it's just, I think that's just honestly marketing and
Yeah.
how they want to,
Yeah.
Yeah.
how they want you to think about it.
Yeah.
But yes, absolutely. Milky toners, essences,
Yeah.
mist,
Love it.
liquid lotions. They're all the same to me, at least. Yeah.
Yeah, it's about the
Yeah, absolutely.
ingredients. Like, like yes, what are they
Yeah.
doing? Yeah.
Yeah. Do you guys find that as dermatologists too, that's people are surprised when you're recommending things that are not just like basic cleanser, moisturizer, sunscreen, vitamin C, retinol? So when you talk about something like a toner, are people shocked?
I will bring it up only if people ask about it. Like, should I be incorporating a toner? Like, or is this product good? Should I still keep using this essence? But I won't say like you need to have this essence in your routine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that in clinic, we see a different population of people.
Right.
Usually, if you're coming into our clinic, you have skin problems, right? Like you're struggling with acne or rosacea or eczema. And so, for those people, we don't tend to recommend like a big 12-step routine with all these extra things. But it's different when we're online and people are more hungry for skincare and they're more interested. And they have, if you're following us, you kind of have an interest in skincare. So, I feel like we do recommend it more like online because we like it and it's what we like to use, but in person it's not something that comes up as much because again that's a different niche, different group of people.
Oh yeah, that makes sense because when I had a really bad perioral dermatitis flare up, I was told I shouldn't even use sunscreen from my dermatologist.
Crazy. I remember
my
that
God.
happening to you and you were like, I saw you posted, you were devastated, you're like, I feel naked, what do I do?
Well, I was devastated because I couldn't try as many products. And so it was just, frustrating because I wasn't able to test out all the things I usually test out. And yeah, it is one of those like annoying little things that just pops up. And for that time, I think I was literally cleansing only once a day. I was not double cleansing and just using azelaic acid and moisturizer. And it was a tough time, but we got through it.
I love how like real and raw you are though with not just your transformations but your struggles with perioral dermatitis and showing people like you don't need, like you said, to get these procedures when you haven't fixed the root of the problem, which could be dehydration and just simply moisturizing your skin. So like thank you for what you do. Like Mimina said, you're doing the Lord's work for us. You're being real, raw, honest. Like it's awesome.
I think the one thing that really stuck out to me is when you said like consistency. I think that's the thing too, is like there's so many products, but really to see if it's working for you, you really have to stick to it for a good period of time to see the results.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I got my dad on a skincare routine and he'd never done skincare until his 60s. And a lot of people look at that and they go, well, that's too late. You can't start skincare now. You've done your whole life basically, or like half your life without skincare. But I got him on a routine and he was really, really consistent. And when I showed his before and afters, it looked like he'd had a neck lift.
Wow.
It was insane. And it was all, I know men, I feel like men just, I don't know what it is about men specifically, but men, they'll use skincare and it will work so well on them. It's infuriating. But his before and afters were really quite incredible. And, that doesn't mean that I don't think that he could be a great candidate for maybe laser down the line and all sorts of things. But, for me to have started with saying, oh yeah, just get a laser procedure for your hyperpigmentation without addressing the routine would have been so irresponsible. And people were really shocked. I mean, the pictures were a year apart and he was using everything consistently. But that's the thing with topical skincare. If you're using it long term, it can have really incredible effects on the skin. That's not to say I'm anti-procedure. I actually just got my first in-office procedure and I documented all of it. I got PRFM under my eyes and around my smile lines.
Tell us about that. Like, what was the experience like? What were the results that you saw? Who did you see? How did you decide you wanted that procedure?
Yes. So I went to the Things We Do and I saw Christine there. She is incredible. And I like her because I would go in there. So part of being such a public facing figure online is I get offers once a week to do things to my skin. Free filler, free Botox, free this, free that. It can get very tempting to, say yes and do things. And, and I've really maintained, no, I don't need that. No, I don't need that. And I really like it because I go to her and I tell her which offers I've gotten, and she goes, you don't need that. You don't need that. You don't need that. You don't need that. Very conservative. To this day, I have not done Botox and I don't think I need it yet. And I'm not doing it until I feel like I really want to. But what had happened was I'd lost a significant amount of weight just from going from not working out to working out. And because I was, 29 or whatever, I found that my face, I felt like I'd lost volume in my face and I really missed the way it looked when I had more weight. And I was waiting for it to kind of come back. But, you do lose collagen as you get older. And I felt like I just basically had these hollows that were not there before, like some shadows that would come across my skin, around my smile lines, around my under eyes. And this is like really subtle stuff, honestly. But I'm getting married and I thought I really want to look fresh for my wedding day. I've done all the work. I've done all the eye creams. I've done everything that you can do topically. I'm really curious about PRFM. I think the reason I was curious about PRFM too is because it's not like filler. It does act similarly, but essentially your skin just reabsorbs it insofar as what I understand. It's plasma that's, they take your blood, they spin it in the centrifuge, they take this plasma, they inject it. It tells your skin to produce more collagen, which will thicken the area naturally. And then temporarily, it also acts like thickened filler to, reduce the appearance of this shadowing. But eventually, it does reabsorb. And so, a couple years later, you're going to either be in the same place or a little bit better off because the skin will have been thickened. So I really liked that because I didn't want any filler that could then stay there and live there and migrate. So that's why I decided to do it ultimately. And it was great, actually. I mean, I documented all of the results. I've done 2 sessions. I'm supposed to do a third. And it was interesting because I was in there and I was so nervous. I was so scared. I'd never had anything injected in me before. And it was like a weird sensation. I was thinking, oh my God, if this was filler, I'd feel so freaked out right now. But once it was over, it was like 5-minute thing. I go, oh, what else can we do? And oh my God, I can see how quickly someone
you
can
get
get
you get addicted to it.
For sure.
It was really eye-opening to me because I built it up in my head. I go in, it takes 5 minutes, and I go, oh, that was so easy. Well, what can we do next? And thankfully, I had an injector who's like, nothing, go home.
Love it.
Right? But I could see how it's a slippery slope.
Yeah.
You're sitting there. It's so easy. You see instant results. Yeah. Do my lips next. I don't know.
Exactly.
But yeah. It was, it was eye-opening. But I enjoyed it. And I think that I'm still going to maintain being conservative because I really just want to look like me at the end of the day.
Yeah.
But that's just my personal take. And I really think that women should do whatever they want and that no one should really comment on what anyone is doing because it's not your face and you don't have to live with it. So why should you care?
Exactly.
Hallelujah.
Yeah, you look amazing.
Yeah.
Your skin looks amazing. So.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah. What are some procedures that you like to recommend to like brides to be? Is there anything that they can do in office? It's kind of like a, I don't know, universally liked treatment?
Yeah, it depends on like how far off the wedding is. I think it's good for people to come at least 6 months, ideally even a year before, just because changes are slow. You don't want like to do crazy drastic things. And I feel like I'm maybe even more conservative with brides because you don't want them to look weird or different. But it depends on the person. It can of course, getting them on like a really good skincare routine if they're not on a retinol or vitamin C, and along with the basics like cleansing, moisturizing, and sunscreen, making sure they're doing that. And then, I will do like gentle chemical peels, gentle lasers. Microneedling also has like low downtime, and like just formulating a plan that incorporates, a procedure probably once every, it can range from every 6 weeks to every 3 months.
I think people truly, like you mentioned, underestimate the power of a good skincare regimen and consistency, which is why it's so important that brides come in 6 months ahead of time so that you can give that skincare time to work and make your skin glowy and dewy. And I'm also very wary of giving a bride an unnecessary procedure, because the worst thing in the world is for them to not look like themselves on their day. But I do love a good hydrofacial. Like, I usually recommend a couple hydrofacials before your wedding so that you can, because I think the most important thing is to just look healthy, to have healthy skin, to have a glow about you, which you're already going to have from just being happy. But we add a little bit to that with like a hydrofacial.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I love that you recommended that. I think also just finding a really great esthetician that you love and can do just a gentle hydrating facial, even all of that, like the massage that estheticians do, it's really nice because it stimulates all your blood flow, and that's why you look so glowy after. Plus, it makes me realize that we don't take the time to massage things and work products into our skin for as long as we should. I mean, no one does. We're really busy, so we'll just okay, next. But an esthetician, they'll really get in there. And I was like, wow, that's nice. That's nice. And I think it does do something. So even just something like that, something super simple where you're not doing anything crazy, I think is so good.
It's relaxing, right? Because planning for a wedding, or like that's already stressful enough. And often I'll see brides who are like super stressed and they're breaking out from their acne. And so sometimes it's not even just about just making sure that they're like comfortable and confident in the skin and trying to get them to be as clear as possible, and maybe even doing some medical management on that if they already struggle with acne. But I think it's like, at least for me, like Mamina said, like less is more.
I agree.
Making sure that they come in way ahead of time to plan for that journey before their wedding.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that. Yeah. I haven't even started wedding planning, to be honest with you. I mean, I know we're gonna get married, but it's been like such a busy few months. And I've heard it's stressful. I really want to be like the guy and just show up and be like, wow, this is nice. So whatever I have to do, whoever I have to hire to help me with that, so that I can just show up and go, wow, is this the flowers we picked out?
Do you have like a venue picked out? I feel like that's like the stress, like because they get booked out so far ahead.
I know.
I have no date. I have no venue. But next week I'm trying on dresses for the first time, and so that'll be really exciting.
Fun.
And then we have to choose a location, obviously, and a venue. We have not even chosen if it's going to be in the country or not. So we got to narrow that down.
So you have 0% done, other than your skin is ready. I feel like your skin is ready. You don't need to do anything.
Backwards.
My body and my skin are ready. No, we got engaged in December, and then we purchased our first home. So that was really like a priority for us before the actual
100%.
wedding. That's what we chose to do. But I totally get it. And we're still getting questions and people are shocked because it's been like, we're now headed to like almost 6-month mark, and we have not done anything since the day we got engaged. So I think people are shocked, but like that's where our priorities were.
Yeah.
And so
you do you.
Yeah. For real. Well, anyway, I want to kind of end things with a little beauty bestie rapid fire. So I know, like, we all do social media for a living, right? It is so hard for us to not talk, but try your best to, give us like a rapid fire gut response answer with, you can like explain it a little bit, but it's so hard for us content creators to like keep it short, but do whatever you want to do though. This is all about you. So, okay. I feel like you've mentioned a lot of toners that you love, but your favorite toner ever, and it can't be the one that you're creating, because that's obviously going to be the answer. Other than the one you're creating.
My favorite toner ever? Oh my God. I can't do that. I honestly can't.
So rude. So rude. Okay.
I refuse to answer. I think,
plead the fifth.
My favorite toner ever. God. I feel like I'm going to say something and it's not going to be right. Can I look in my little drawer?
Sure. Get some inspo if you want.
I'm going to edit. You know what? I'm just going to base it off of what I have backups of. Do you mind?
Yeah, go for it. Yes,
my
go for it.
Beauty closet. Okay.
We can see your closet of toners. Oh my gosh.
Closet. My favorite toner ever. Let's see. What do I have the most backups? Oh. favorite toner ever that I have 4 backups of
Is it the
the Haru Haru Wonder Black Rice Probiotics Barrier
that's a
Essence.
good
And
one.
I currently opened my beauty closet and I have 4 backups.
Oh my
And
gosh.
so
That is a good
That
milky
says
chocolate.
that's when you're afraid to run out of something like that. That's when you know.
Okay, next rapid fire question. What do you think is the most underrated skincare ingredient?
Azelaic acid.
Yes.
That's a good one.
And allantoin.
Nice.
Oh, I
Nice.
haven't heard
Wonderful.
people say
Yeah.
that
Nice.
one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
One makeup item you always repurchase.
The Rodial blush drops. They look like a highlighter and blush in one. I'm wearing them right now, and whenever I wear them, they just make my skin look extremely dewy and healthy without looking oily. I love them.
I gotta try.
Yeah, I gotta write that one down.
I'll show you.
Yeah, show it.
And they're
Nice.
honestly, and I had my makeup artist friend come and like raid my stash, and she kept coming back to these being like, ooh, and I was like, oh no, that's the one product I'm not gonna let you take. I need it in my routine. But it's just
So you just like do one drop and do you like kind of pat it in on your cheeks? Or how do you
Stunning.
use
I
it?
can't explain what it does, but it's also really easy to work with because it's not so pigmented. You can kind of build it, but yeah.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
Yeah.
Obsessed. Okay. What's one product you wish you loved, but you just don't?
Probably the Youth to the People Superfood Cleanser.
Mhm.
And I will say it's not a bad product at all. I've recommended it to tons of people who have oilier skin.
Mhm.
And I wanted to love it because the packaging's so cute. It looks like soap. But for me personally, it's just too drying.
Mhm.
And that's when, skincare is not a one size fits all.
Exactly.
Not every product is going to work for you. And and that's the thing I always like to say, it doesn't mean it's a bad product, because I'll say that and then people go, oh my God, I'm going to throw mine out. And I'm like, no, what are you doing? But yeah, that didn't work for me.
I hear ya.
Yeah.
Okay, and last one. If you were to do a brand collab, what would be like your one dream brand collab?
Oh gosh. For a really long time, and I'm still holding out hope, it would have been La Roche-Posay making a tinted version of their Cicaplast.
Oh.
I talked about that product so many times.
Yeah.
So many times, like kind of also before it was cool, and then it became like really, really popular. And then I made more videos, and La Roche-Posay would like, ask to boost them or work with me, and it was great. And I was like, I need a tinted moisturizer that has this in it. And I kind of wanted like a thicker version that was like really good for like flaky skin, specifically like flaky retinol sensitive skin. Yeah, that would be like such a dream. I don't think that's a priority for them though.
You never
But
know.
that's
Maybe
fine.
they'll listen
Yeah,
to this podcast.
hopefully they're listening.
Oh,
Oh, well, we're gonna wrap up. This was amazing. Really appreciate just everything that you had to share. Just for the derms, I want us to kind of share our favorite takeaway from today's podcast with Sarah. I was like, share a takeaway from Sarah.
Tongue twister.
Sarah, takeaway.
Yeah.
I would say that, and I agree with her 100%, toners and essences are not necessary, but wow, are they a luxury, and they really can level up your skincare game, especially when it comes to milky toners, and to not get bogged down in some of those details. Like, they're all kind of the same thing, just with different words.
Yeah. And I love, Sarah, you talking about skincare, the importance of skincare and consistent skincare. And that is really the foundation for healthy, dewy, glowy skin. And do that first before you venture out to do other things if it's still necessary. Yeah.
Yeah. And then one of my favorite takeaways was just from like a content creator angle is just, social media can be like crazy and intimidating, but learning to have that humility, or just having that humility, and being transparent, open with your followers, I think that goes such a long way. And I think those qualities are what give the longevity to these content creators and like that loyal following. And I think you do that so well. And I think that's also why we wanted to have you on here, because we just appreciate, just like like, I don't know, you also you also show such good intention with sharing so much advice. And yes, you're not a dermatologist, but you are sharing, you know, a unique perspective too. And I think, you know, there's a place for everyone here, and we appreciate you.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you so much. It means the world that I got to be invited on your podcast and just chat all things skincare with you. And you guys are such incredible creators and dermatologists, and you give such amazing advice. So to have your seal of approval means a lot.
Well, thank you so much. Yes. So where can people find you if they want to follow you on social media or anywhere else?
It's at Sarah Palmyra everywhere, Palmyra. Really easy.
Nice.
I'm on YouTube, I'm on TikTok, I'm on Instagram, and I think I'm going to be launching a Substack for all things bridal specifically.
Love it.
Oh, nice.
Oh, good luck with the wedding planning.
Yes.
Yeah.
So exciting. Just a reminder to our listeners, our new episode is next Tuesday. Be sure to follow and subscribe to be notified when a new episode drops. And don't forget to share this episode with your skincare, beauty obsessed friends, your group chat, everyone.
Your mother, your sister, your cousin, your
Your
dad.
husband.
Dads are obviously into skincare too. So.
Yes. Well, thank
Sarah,
you again,
you're
Sarah.
amazing.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.